We got a new setup. Nah, I'm just playing. You're literally on top of like my PS5. That's it. But it looks better. Lighting looks better. That's like my excuse for an intro today. So these are my favorite exercises for building strength and muscle. I don't even think I might have an intro. I'm just gonna say screw. I'm just gonna get straight to it. No foreplay, no nothing. So for the law. My favorite exercises for building muscle and strength in calisthenics is literally, you're gonna hate the answer, but I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. First one, I'll list off some unorthodox exercises that are pretty awesome and some really staple exercises. Number one, in building pulling strength, we'll say pulling strength. If you're a beginner, because some of these exercises are pretty hard and not everybody can do them. If you're a beginner, it would have to be it'd be a toss-up between two if you're a beginner. Jackknife pull-ups. What are jackknife pull-ups? You never heard of those. Basically, they're pull-ups while your feet are on the ground. Okay? Hear me out. Picture a dip bar. So you basically sit down on the floor, hands extended, and then you just do pull-ups like that. That is all you do. If it was that, Junior, you're an idiot. Literally, how would that ever build me strength? Listen. If you want to be able to do crazy numbers like the camera's right there. I'll look at the camera on. Try to look at them better. If you want to be able to do 50 pull-ups straight, your muscles need to be able to hold your weight up and do pull-ups for the amount of time you're going to be doing 50 pull-ups straight. 50 pull-ups, you're going to be doing pull-ups for like 2 to 3 minutes straight. You can't even hang on the bar for 2 to 3 minutes. And you want to do 50 pull-ups? That doesn't make any sense. So what makes sense is to bring the weight down, bring the progressions down, bring your ego down to where you're doing pull-ups while your feet are on the ground. So it builds up the endurance and strength in your arms and your back and your abs too. You doing, let's say, one of my favorite exercises is doing the jackknife pull-up on dip bars and putting a timer down for 3 minutes straight. And in those 3 minutes, you want to do as many pull-ups as you can. My goal is to do 3, 6, 9. How many is it? It's like, you essentially want to aim for like a pull-up a second. So in 1 minute, you want to aim for 60 pull-ups. It's not so easy now, because now you got to do that 3 times. So 6, 12, 18. So you got to do almost 200 pull-ups in 3 minutes. Okay? But then people are going to be like, oh, but that's endurance. I want more strength. It's like, listen, in calisthenics, endurance is strength. You get me? Endurance is strength. Being able to do pull-ups for 2 to 3 minutes straight is definitely going to give you more strength to be able to lift heavier weights. If your muscles are capable of doing 5 to 10 more pull-ups than before, you will be able to lift more weight on the dip belt, a higher muscle up, an easier muscle up, because you are doing the jackknife pull-up. What else does the jackknife pull-up do? It basically, I hate saying basically, it essentially builds up the base that you are also maybe lacking. That's what most calisthenics athletes fail to do. They fail to build up that base. Doing jackknife pull-ups and being really proficient in them is going to destroy all weaknesses you've had before. Grip strength, conditioning, pure just muscle mass of 3 minutes of jackknife pull-ups. You're going to be a beast in regular pull-ups. Because think about it, if you can do jackknife pull-ups for 3 minutes, you can then do pull-ups for 3 minutes. You may not get 50, but I guarantee you're going to get more than what you had before. This is the method I use. This and another method, which is basically the same thing, where you would do your max pull-ups, and then your buddy would assist you till you got to the goal number you want. So if I wanted to do 30 pull-ups, I would do my max, let's say it's 20. I would have my buddy come over and he would help me get 10. Literally forcing my muscles to do the work. And jackknife pull-ups, same thing. If your arms get tired, use more of your legs. That is like one of the best exercises for pulling muscles, pulling strength in general. The next one, for pulling if you're advanced, it's pretty unorthodox. weighted negative chin-ups. That exercise has literally helped me skip like 2 or 3 progressions at a time if I want one-arm pull-ups again. When I was training for one-arm pull-ups, I said, screw it. I get super strong from doing weighted pull-ups, and I get super strong from doing weighted negatives. Let me see if I can do both. So what I would do, I'll pick a super heavy weight. Not even super heavy. I'd probably put, my max is probably like, it's 3 plates. So I would do 2 plates and a half. Or maybe I would even do the 3 plates. I would have a setup where I would have surfaces to where I step up, and I'm basically like already this close to the bar. Then I would jump up, and I would go as slow as I possibly can. I would do that for 3 to 5 reps, 3 to 5 sets. And your biceps and lats are destroyed. And you would literally be able to, I remember I would do one of those workouts of just weighted negatives. I would go from not being able to do this to being able to get all the way to here in less than a month. Or I think it was even less than that. I think it was probably like 2 weeks. That's how good the exercise was. It's extremely, extremely taxing on the nervous system, though. So be careful when you're doing this. Those are when you do when you're feeling strong and you want to really build up a lot of pulling strength really quickly. So that's not for pulling exercise. For pulling exercise, the jackknife pull-up and the weighted negative. Unorthodox, and I love it. For pushing, the best exercises for pushing strength is, in my opinion, the handstand push-up. The handstand push-up or any push-up variation. If you're a beginner, it's going to be the incline push-up. Do the same thing. What we would do, me and my buddies, what we would do is, back in high school, we would find a staircase, right? It would have like maybe 20 steps. We would literally pick a number of push-ups, hold your number. It's someone from Beast, he's a calisthenics beast. His name is Vital, V12. We would pick a number. I would pick 50 push-ups. And you would do 50 push-ups per step. You don't have to start off 50, but you have to pick a number and hold that number. Even if it's 5 push-ups, do those 5 push-ups per step. I guarantee you, when I did stuff like that, those crazy intense endurance routines, I was able to get a better handstand push-up. I was able to hold a crappy straddle planche for a couple seconds longer just because of how much of a shock it sent to my muscles and how much it took to recover, and I came back so much stronger. So the handstand push-up in particular, the reason why I like it so much is that the range of motion and how much carryover strength it has. When I'm doing, because the way I do handstand push-ups, I don't do these to where like it gets my forward. I do the ones where I go to here, where it's like an overhead press, and then I would go up. Those, I would do the weighted or diamond handstand push-ups, or I would just do weighted handstands freestanding. Wallahi, I swear to God, those built up the shoulder strength like nothing else. Here's what you want to do. You don't want to do hand balancing. You want to eliminate all the factors that make it unstable so you could just focus on producing as much force as you can. So you get a wall, strap a couple weights, and don't put too many. My max is probably like 35, 40 pounds for handstand push-ups. Most people will never get that. I recommend you to just go add 5 to the max 20 pounds because you want to also go deep range of motion. You want to go up to here when you're doing a handstand push. I prefer going all the way to where I get my ribs. The goal is to get to my waist. That's the goal. But most people will never get that. So if you're advanced, handstand push-up or the dip is like a number 3, and I'll explain why later, but the handstand push-up is super important because it transfers over to the dip and the handstand and the regular push-up and the planche because of that shoulder strength. Literally the handstand push-up, you can't complicate it. It's super good, and the fatigue to stimulus ratio is so good. The dip. The reason why the dip is in number 3 for the spot of like best exercises for pushing is because it is super easy to get injured. Like I am still injured from the sternum right here. A lot of people can get injured really easily doing dips, whether it be their elbows or stuff like that, or like their rotator cuff. The reason why I don't like the dip is because it's super easy to get injured. But if you can avoid it, it takes a spot for handstand push-up because then you don't even need to go upside down for it. Literally, it's so good, and especially if you're going super deep in the range of motion. Next up for legs. Calisthenics is not known for legs. And I'm not known for having huge legs, mainly because I don't show them off. I don't really show anything off. I wear baggy clothes all the time. But I do have decently strong legs. My favorite exercise for legs, and it's going to sound a little weird, it is actually a form of rucking / carry. In my field of work, I'm comfortable carrying a lot of heavy, wide, long beams of metal. And I notice a lot of times I would get super sore in my legs when I would push like a heavy cart, like a 1,800 pound cart, and I'm pushing it all night long at Amazon. My legs would be shot sore. And the rucking is basically the military exercise where you would grab like a heavy object and you would carry it and you would walk. Most people wear a huge backpack and they walk with it for miles. I do something similar to that, but it's not to that extent. I literally have like a barbell outside and I pick it up. Or I would pick up like 4 25-pound plates and I carry it like this. And I do a squat, try to sprint, literally sprint with this weight. Squat again. Your legs are toast. You were toast. That or sprints. Those are my favorite exercises for building strength, mostly in my legs. If you want to do building more muscle, I personally love the lunge more than the squat, mainly because the squat's a lot more complicated than a lunge, in my opinion, because you don't got to worry about mobility or issues. You got to get the right shoes. I be going barefoot outside and I be lunging, and it feels great, and I feel like it really blows them up if you really need to. Another thing for like other unorthodox stuff, or not unorthodox, not famous stuff, it would be like the forearm or the neck, or I guess the calves. Favorite exercises for those, for the neck, honestly, it would getting a neck strap. I don't really train them as much. I used to train them a lot more. My neck was probably like, it would go like to out here, maybe not out here, maybe like right there. You would notice the difference when I was a wrestler. When I was a wrestler, you were training neck all day. And neck is really healthy. Keeps you strong. In case you take a punch to the face, you won't fall back as hard. Makes you look a lot more masculine, like me. Look like pencil neck action. So if I'm just like right here, you can't really tell if I lift or not. Having a huge neck helps with that. Forearms, pull-ups. I never train the forearms. I work out doing pull-ups and stuff like that, and I just really grab tight of everything I grab. For calves, I think I am on the spectrum, maybe. And I have been walking on my toes since birth. So, yeah. Do with that what you will. Those are my favorite exercises, so I hope that helps. See ya.